Hi, Eric Nelson here from TRG, and welcome to TRG 5, where we take 5 minutes to dive into one of the challenges facing our sector as a result of COVID-19. And in those 5 minutes, we talk about the challenge and discuss ways TRG's council has evolved to help address this subject. So in today's 5, we're going to talk about fundraising. Why? Because it's almost the end of the year, which many of you know is one of the times when an arts and culture organization sees its largest number of gifts come in for all kinds of reasons. Your patrons want to celebrate the year with you. They want to recognize your great impact and fund its impact going forward, as well as, they want to give so they can write some of that money off on their taxes. So this is a great time to be asking for gifts. So why is it a challenge? Well, because of this. We are noticing some concern, some trepidation around asking for funds at this time for good reasons. People are asking the question, can we, should we be asking for funds during this time of COVID when there are so many needs out there and other fundraising is going on to fuel health efforts and things of that nature? Can we, should we be doing it? Our response is yes. Lean into your strength, lean into your origin, lean into your mission, lean into your whys. We're seeing in a lot of the research that's coming in from surveys to patrons that one of the things that patrons are valuing so much is the impact arts and cultural organizations are having in their communities. All that good work that you're doing is resonating and your patrons are noticing, and they're saying we want to keep this around, not just for the community, but also it means a lot to each patron personally, and they want to make sure you keep going to provide that great value in their lives. So one area in our council is to think about messaging and having the right, invitation out at the right time with the right message. So to help understand this better, we sent out a survey to a number of different arts and cultural organizations and asked them what type of messaging they've been using in their fundraising efforts this year. So I'll give you an orientation to this slide. On the left, you'll see different themed styles that organizations have been using, different messaging. In the middle, you'll see purple and green. Purple shows campaigns based on those messages that exceeded or met goal, and green shows campaigns of those themes that did not meet goal. Now, to put it all in context, you'll see these bottom two. That's where a majority of the messaging for campaigns that have been happening in 2020 have been housed. So most people have been using those types of messages as you see at the bottom. But you see all these different options. And one thing that is evident even among the most, as well as all of the campaigns, the messages that are really resonating with your patrons are the ones around impact statements, how you're providing value to the community, how your organization has evolved as a result of COVID, and because of the great help of your patrons, you've been able to make these added value propositions to the market. So we would recommend leaning into that, leaning into what's resonating with your patrons, so that that really great levity, that really wonderful lifting up story of how you're providing impact and how your patrons are helping is a great way to focus. We also at TRG are big fans of channels, having different ones out there so you're getting your messages out there in a wide variety of ways to your patrons. So most organizations are using more than one channel to get their messages out, which is great. We highly recommend that. Our council has always been grounded in variety of channel, especially around things like direct mail and phone, which often seem not as shiny and bright as digital, but are really impactful. And one interesting point to drive home here is of the campaigns that did not meet goal in this survey, 100% of those that did not meet goal also did not use phone. So they didn't pick up the phone and ask for gifts that way. So if you want to reach goal, we'd highly recommend pulling in either a formal telefundraising element to your campaign or activate your staff, your volunteers, your board to make calls to check into your patrons and also to make these end of year asks to them at the same time. Really impactful. So speaking of the phone, give me a call. Here's my contact information. I'm happy to address questions you may have on this topic. Also, you'll see in the links below for this post that you can book a free hour of consulting with me. If you want to noodle through this topic or talk through other patron engagement challenges you're facing, happy to puzzle through those and help brainstorm with you. So like I said, give me a ring. Hope this has been helpful. Stay well, and here's to a great end of year. Cheers.